Okay, just to get started, I'd like to point out that this is one that I printed at 50. I did print it with Prusa because I was getting a better seam at the time. It's been a while. Did it in 3 hours and 24 minutes. 0.16 layer height. But I'm showing you this because you can see at 50 it printed pretty good. This is just where I started some infill right here for strength. But that is at 50, 250 degrees, and it printed pretty good. So I can't be sure, but as I think back, I recall that about the time my troubles started, I found a model. It was jammed under here partially. It fell off and was jammed under there just like that at the end of the print. As you may recall in the last video, I had done what you suggested for the Z-wobble by loosening the bearings, and I went through that procedure, and still the bed was hard to lift up, just as it is there. Then I loosened, as you might recall in the other video, I loosened these brass nuts and it freed up pretty good. The problem I'm experiencing is in the same spot on every model. You see down there, hopefully you can see it better on this one. And there on the bottom, as it comes up, and in the same spot on all of them, a little spot right there, and especially at the very top. I stopped this one before it finished. And this one here also in the same spot, and there a little spot. Now I adjusted it, or I just left these loose. The brass nuts, I just left them loose a little bit, and it seemed to help. The bed would go up and down better, and the spot on the bottom is reduced a whole lot. Please never mind the difference in filament. This one here, I found it, adjusted it whenever the bed was all the way up, and you can see it all but eliminated the one on the bottom. But still at the top, just as bad or worse. So with that being jammed underneath there, and the bed not moving smoothly, and having to loosen these brass nuts to get it to move smoothly, I removed the brass nuts so that the carriage or bed or frame would move freely on the bearings, and it moves quite freely on the bearings. There's no problem, no bind at all. It's not until I fasten those back on that it tightens up. So this is why I think the frame might be bent, because when I tighten those up it binds, and because it had a model stuck under it, and it was under there pretty tight for me to try to remove it. So I have ordered from eBay 2 screw assemblies with motor. You said you could send me the brass nuts, and I've always wondered about this plastic insert up here. It's really kind of loose in a way. I don't know if that's standard, but I was thinking while I was replacing that, replacing the screws, I might as well replace that. As far as replacing the frame, the way I see it, I can take the heated bed off easily. The screws out of the bearings. These seem relatively easy. I assume take these 4 screws out of each one. The motor drops down. If I were to replace the frame, it seems like I would have to remove these screws, remove this top rail on each side. Is that right? And then I can lift it up and get them out of the way, and the bed will come up and out the frame. Is that correct?